Okay, so, all right, let me just see where I am. Okay. Okay. All right. So, well, welcome to everyone who's joined us this evening, and a special welcome to new members. We've got 2 new members this month, Jennifer Bell and Joan Butler. And then just 2 items I'd like to mention. Our competition is busy running on Facebook until Sunday, which is the 30th. Don't forget, if you haven't had a look yet, don't forget to look and vote. We've got some really beautiful work up there. And then the other little mention is a huge thank you to Lizzie, who's in the background during these Zoom meetings, and without her, this wouldn't be happening. Okay, so this evening I'd like to welcome Wyn Rousseau. Wyn is a long-standing member of our society. She is essentially an outstanding representational artist who works directly from life, capturing her subject in a painterly, atmospheric way. Her medium of choice is oils, but Wyn also enjoys experimenting and exploring new avenues. So besides oils, she works in watercolor, pastel, ink, and print media. She diligently keeps up a daily practice of drawing from life, from life or from her imagination, avidly filling her sketchbooks. So tonight, she's going to share with us the joy and importance of creative play, her Dawdles and Doodles. If you have any questions to ask her, please use the chat function or WhatsApp me, and I will ask her the questions when she's finished. Okay, over to you, Wyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sue, and good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending tonight. And also a very warm welcome to family and friends who are also attending, who are not members of the Society. So I thank you for your support as well. Yeah, so here we go. I'm going to begin with a quote from Paul Klee. And he said that a drawing is simply a line going for a walk. And to me, this immediately evokes a sense of fun and playfulness. And I really think it helps to think of the practice of drawing in this way. Don't let it be a chore. Just relax, what I'm trying to do now, and let your eyes just roam over the surface of an object and your hand will follow. So it's the sort of hand-eye thing. It's very important. It should be a stress reliever, and we do need that in our lives more than ever now. I have another quote, this one from Mary Lou Cook, and she said, "Creativity is experimenting, growing, taking risks, breaking rules, making mistakes, and having fun." So tonight, utilizing inks and watercolor, I'll take you on a short excursion from the more serious aspects of our personal art journeys. And I hope to inspire you to be creative, playful, and make experimental little artworks and have lots of fun doing it. Don't underestimate the importance of taking such a break. It's food for the soul, and you never know where it may lead. So I'm going to just flip the camera over so that you can see what I'm working with. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Sorry. That's it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start off with just doing a line drawing of a clove of garlic. Very simple. I've started it just to get it done, just to make a start, because time is a bit of an issue here. I enjoy using these micron pens for sketching, and I do like the black ones. I also have dark brown, and they come in different thicknesses. It's permanent ink. I have from 0.005 and a selection from 0.01, 03, 05, 08 and up to this brush. Okay, so I usually always start with the very thinnest one, tonight I'm going to start with 01 though, because I'm not sure, well, I do hope that you'll be able to see those marks that I'm making. Okay, so here we go. And this is dawdling. This really is dawdling, taking the line for a walk. Okay, so my garlic. And you'll notice that I don't, you try not put your pen down. You just go with the flow. I'm just letting my eyes go over these little lines and grooves and wiggles. And this actually is a lovely subject for this sort of thing. Just flowing it over. Sorry, when I start drawing, then I'll probably stop talking. So I'm just trying to concentrate here a little bit. There's some nice wiggly bits in here. And again, you see, I'm just trying to keep that pen down. Okay. I love all these little crinkles and creases and things. So that's just with the very thin pen. What I quite like to do too is to then get a thicker one and just do an outline. I'm taking the 05 one, and I love negative shapes. So there's one lovely negative shape in there, and I'm just going to emphasize that. And then just take my pen around all these little bits and bobs. Okay, and down. And just, it just adds something just to have a different thickness of line. I'm going to just leave it like that, and then the shadow area I've just left like that. Now you can just leave it as such. I want to put some of this dark brushwork from the brush. This is a very thick one. It's got like a brush tip, and I'm just going to emphasize a couple of just darker areas just to add a bit of punch. There we go. Okay, now we can leave it like that, but I love color. So I have also got these Caran d'Ache. I'm not sure how much you can see of them. They come in a box like that. And these are water soluble. Okay. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color. Let's see, let's make it fun. I'm going to actually add a bit of pink. Because garlic has that sort of pinky look sometimes. Dash of purple. And maybe this bit of bright orange, just to add some zing. All right. And this is great if you're just sketching outdoors as well. I've also got this pen. It is a Aqua pen. It's filled with water, and it has a little brush on the end, and you just give it a little squeeze and the water will come out. So here we go. I'm just going to, can you see that? Yes. Just going to wet it a little bit. You can see that brilliant color coming out. Okay, and it just a little bit of color there. Okay, so that's just some bit of fun. There you are. Now, that's sort of working mainly with positive shapes. I also love negative shapes. Now, this is a little Fabriano sketchbook, actually. It's quite nice. It's, I think it's 160 grams paper, so it's thickish and it can take a bit of watercolor. I did this drawing earlier this afternoon. Love it. I just love it when the nasturtiums are coming out. It's a wonderful time of the year, spring, isn't it just? I also admire the work of Charles Rennie Mackintosh very much. And to me, this has that kind of Art Nouveau feel. And by emphasizing the negative shapes, it just adds to that. And what I'd like to do is to just fill that with a bit of watercolor. So here we go with my watercolor. I'm just using a ordinary little paintbrush. It's a Kolinsky sable, well worth the money, these Kolinsky sables. Now I'll just use a bit of, I think I like the cobalt blue, and I think a bit of this olive green. It's a lovely color. Just mix that together. And then I'm just going to fill in some of these negative, well, those negative shapes there. I think I must add a bit more blue. I'm going to add, so this Idanthron blue is lovely blue. Okay. So you see, just filling in, and it really makes it pop. I should have some music on. Everything's so deathly quiet. I wonder if you're all still there. It's strange presenting like this, I must say. So as I said before, it's the same micron pens that I mentioned earlier, and they are waterproof. I quite like when you get those little white marks between the watercolor, just little sparkles of white showing through. Is great. Okay, and nearly done. And you see how much more there is to this if you just do it. I just love negative shapes. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it like that. There is a design element there, which is, I actually like that. Just put a little bit more paint in there. Okay. It almost gives the feeling of stained glass in a way with the black lines between. Okay, so that's that. Now, something with a little bit more of a design feel to it. I have prepared a piece of watercolor paper, and I'm going to draw in some shapes from my garden. These bottle brush, they've got wonderful shapes. So I just picked one from the garden. You can see, I love these knobbly bits, and then the leaves is just about to flower. So there are no flowers. And that's also why I chose those colors, because those are the sort of colors on this stalk. They've got that reddish stalk and the greenish leaf. And again, I'm going to start with the thinner micron pen. I'm going to use the 01 again. And my idea is I've just doing a stalk, but you can see I drew it sort of going through almost as if these are little windows. And in fact, in our lounge, we've got a cottage pane window, and outside is this bush. So it kind of ties up with that. And again, I'm just going to draw just some little shapes quickly. Let's take the stem this way. So I'm going to come in here with pen again, trying to keep it down. that will come up here. And that will come up here. There's a leaf. Okay, and I'm going to just again emphasize the outline. I'm going to use the 05 micron, 05, and I'm just going to emphasize that outline there like that. Okay, so I'm still using life as reference, as I did with the previous two drawings, the nasturtiums and the garlic. Okay, so this is all still from life, but trying to go more into that design element. And I quite like this sort of outline. Okay, now we can actually do a little bit of embellishment here. I enjoy these gel pens. I've got a selection of them. They're metallic, made by Sakura, and relatively inexpensive. These ones are my favorite, the gold and silver, and I think we need a bit of gold here. So I'm going to just embellish it with a bit of gold, put some gold on these little wobbly things, I think. The light's not really shining here, so I don't suppose you can see that gold. I don't know how to get it to shine on there. Perhaps if I bring the light in a bit. I don't know if that shows it up or not, but there is some gold there. Okay. Oopsie. Okay. And, you know, you can just fiddle and dawdle and doodle with this forever. We need to do a few more in here before it's finished, but that's the idea of it. Okay. Now I have got, starting to get more of the design element here. This is now becoming more doodling than dawdling. I just got some random leaf shapes from the garden, and I've just started with pens. I think the 05 would be quite nice. And I'm going to just doodle, embellish. I think I will just do lines going straight down on here, like this. Okay. You can see I've done a few bits and pieces before. Perhaps put a bit of silver in it. I'll just take some silver down here, just in one place. Okay, and so on. So you can see that, I just want to adjust this light. I don't know if you can see that silver there, but it definitely has more of that sort of imagination, imaginary kind of look coming. Okay, this I have used some white. Now the gel pens also come in white. There's a selection of these white pens that I've got. The gel one was actually brilliant at first. But lately I've had a bit of trouble with the white one. This is the size 10, which was great, but I think it's starting to dry out. Anyway, I got a number 8, and it hasn't been fantastic. I've also got these Posca markers, which have acrylic paint in them. But I also find, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's this, I'm using a thickish paper here. I don't know. And then, of course, this one was quite, this one, in fact, has worked the best for me today. And so that I did today just with the white stripes coming through there. Okay. And then the other thing I want to show you is this effect here. Now, there's this amazing thing called a magic sponge. And it really is magic. This is it here. This is the thing. Okay, so if I just get a piece of some watercolor. Okay, so this was just a scrappy piece of watercolor. Okay. And I'm just going to dampen the sponge just a little bit and just get a shape. I just got some of this plastic mesh, and you just wipe it over like that, this damp sponge, and look what happens. It just takes that, I'm just going to dab it, it just takes that watercolor off. Isn't that amazing? I'm fascinated by it, I really am. Anyway, so that was just to show you that. Then the next thing is I did some little watercolor fish. Now this is really going into the realms of imagination. It's quite effective to actually just do lines in white. I'm going to try this Posca marker. You've got to give it a good shake first though. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do here. I think this fish can have lines coming down like this. Okay, you can all see that. Give it a bit. Okay, so this is on watercolor, just on thin watercolor paper. And I quite like the way it's, you know, it's quite thin paper, and I knew it would make these sort of cauliflower things. It doesn't worry me. I wanted the texture. And this effect of doing white on the white background, it almost makes it look like the pieces are cut. You've got pieces of cut paper. It's great. I really do like it. And let's give him a little eye. Okay. And what do we do on this one? I'm going to just bring some lines in here. See, this pen does work quite well. And he can have some dots coming down his side here. But as you can see, I mean, you could actually just spend hours and hours and hours just doodling away. And let's give him an eye as well. Okay, there we go. So that was that. And now I've also got, this is with inks, okay. These are the inks that I was using. I've got a nice selection. These are the Doc P.H. Martin's inks. And you get the Radiant Concentrated one, which unfortunately is not color fast, but you know, you can get these UV protection sprays, and I think that might help. There's the Hydrus, Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus range, and these actually are light fast. So you've got the choice, but they're not as radiant as these ones. So I think the colors I used the turquoise blue, and I used the Calypso green, and I think I used a fuchsia, no, I can't remember now actually. I think it was a purple. Anyway, whatever. So again, the same thing. I'm just going to use my Posca marker I tried with the magic sponge to get that ink off. It didn't come off as well as with watercolor though, but that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. And I think I'm just going to start with this little fish here. It's quite nice if you do you almost make it stand up by curving the lines like that. Mine goes out the way, and let's try some zigzags. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the paper straight. This pen is not wanting to work for me, but I think it's also the paper, because this again is thicker paper. I think it's obviously works better on the thinner paper, but you just reapply it and it seems to be okay. Okay. I mean, I would love to just dawdle away here, but we're going to run out of time. So it's just to give you an idea of what you can do. Okay. These poor fish without eyes. Let me give them eyes. And he at least can have an eye. Okay. But the colors are lovely and brilliant. Right. And then lastly, for the watercolor part of it, I've just painted, this is watercolor, bright shapes, all different shapes. I used that magic eraser on the vase. And again, I'm just going to get my micron pens. I'll start off just with a very thin one. Let's see, the 01. And you can just dawdle away here. Let's see, there's a leaf shape here. There's something else over here that we can make something of. Gosh, you know, there's actually so much you can do here. And I've sort of gone blank. Anyway. Don't quite know what I'm trying to do there, but let's see if we can make some centers here for flowers. And so on. I'm going to perhaps do some gold. I have started doing some of that gold. I don't know if you can see it shining there. Now these are lovely, these inks. They are called Robertson. I've got two. It's Robertson liquid metal. I've got royal gold and I've got the platinum, simply because they were the only ones I could get then. You have to give it a good shake, like with any of these inks. Oh, it's sort of like an acrylic thing. Gorgeous colors. It's very, very bright. And I'm just using a paintbrush that has a nice, it's got a bulbous thing with a very long point. And then I just dip it in. And then I'm just going to go over around the shapes, just roughly, like that. Okay. It just does something. I've also, you know, a lot of these little tricks and things, I look at YouTube videos, and there's so many amazing people out there with fabulous ideas on what to do and so on. And you can see this, how this gold is behaving here. Isn't that wonderful? I don't know how well it's shining. I can't really see the screen that well, but anyway, I love these gold bits. I think you can go overboard, but oh gosh, it's just, they're just so lovely. I don't like what I did there, so I'm actually going to try and sort that out again with a Posca marker. I'm going to just do some white dots on there just to hide. That looks like some sort of seed pod, I suppose. I'm not sure. Just add a bit of interest there. Bring it over here as well. So I'll put some ink in there, tie that up, and here's another one. I could do that too. It's just a sort of organic feel to it all, you know. And I think what I should do is to actually make those centers more obvious. I'm going to get my brush pen and I'm just going to make more black in there. This Robertson ink takes a while to dry, so I'm very aware of not smudging on that side there. I would probably start with it and let it dry before I started fiddling around like this. So you just be aware, because once you've smudged it, it's not so fantastic. I'm just going to do a few more squiggly things in here. Oh goodness, Lizzie, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you to bring up the slides. Oh dear. Okay. I think we should have some slides. This needs a lot more work, but it's just fun, and you can sort of see where I'm going with it. And the slides that Lizzie's going to show you now will have the completed works. Okay, so Lizzie, if I could have the first slide, please. Okay, thank you, Lizzie. So there's a clove of garlic and a garlic bulb, just with the line work. Okay, and the next slide, please, Lizzie. Some lupins, also just line drawing, and then with a bit of color added to it. It always adds a bit of a punch, I think, you know, to have a bit of color in your sketch. These are just, you know, from our sketchbook. And the next one, please, Lizzie. Just chili peppers, but painted with a little bit of watercolor and obviously with the permanent inks. Again, the micron pens I used there. And the next one, please, Lizzie. That's the nasturtiums with the negative shapes painted in with permanent ink. Next one, please. This one I did with the water-soluble Pilot fine liner in brown. And I quite like that effect of, you know, there's a slight softness to some of the lines where the water from the watercolor has reacted with it. Okay, next slide, please, Lizzie. That's a continuation of the one I started with the bottle brush. Also leaves and petals and little berries taken from my garden. it's not all white. That shiny part is actually the silver Robeson that I use, the Robeson ink. And again, with a permanent ink microns. And I also used a bit of the white Jelly Roll pen in that. Next one, please, Lizzie. There's leaves decorated and doodled on. And the next one, please. That's a bouquet of flowers or vase of flowers done in this method that I've just shown you. Just starting with random paint blotches. You can see the gold shining nicely there, and then the black line work. Next one, please, Lizzie. It's the same, just obviously a different, different vase of flowers actually, but with the gold, the Robeson gold. The next one, please. Okay, sorry, that we're coming up to now. That is, again, nasturtiums, and it's on Yupo paper. I don't know if any of you know about Yupo paper. I'm going to just fetch you the... This is what it is here, okay. It's like, it's actually acrylic. It's like plastic almost. And you can use it with watercolors, acrylics, or alcohol inks. And I've had such fun with these alcohol inks, I can't tell you. The only thing is you need to have a well-ventilated room, which I don't have tonight, but well, one has to make sacrifices, right? So these are the inks I've got, the alcohol inks. Okay. And these are Ranger inks. And you have a blending solution, which is isopropyl alcohol. And it's, oh, gosh, I mean, I must just show you what happens. So I'm just going to put this on the page randomly. This color is called Bottle. I'm going to just drop it in. Some more blending solution. See what's happening. It's so exciting. I've got I think that's very bright. This is a nice color. This is called Stone Washed. Gosh, you can just move it around. I've just got a bamboo pen. See what's happening here. It's so amazing. And you can tip it. And into that, I'm going to drop, what should I drop in there? Pool. Bit of citrus. and a neutral color pebble. I think we'll have that. And you can just play and play and play for hours with this stuff. I'm actually just going to get a paintbrush. I just got some isopropyl from the chemist actually. So I'm just with my paintbrush, I'm just going to oh gosh. Okay. Right. And so on. You can just play and play and play. Do all sorts of wonderful stuff. Okay, I'm just going to leave that for a moment. Now I have prepared something here. All right, we're just looking at the bottom one for the moment. Take a while to dry. See. All right, so here's some alcohol ink on paper, and this is watercolor on the Yupo paper. All right, now I'm going to just get a dip pen, just an ordinary dip pen, like that. And I'm just going to dip it into this alcohol. And I'm just going to do like little dots, and it will reactivate. You can see those little lines coming up. Reactivate the alcohol again. You see that happening there. And so you can just play and play and play and play. Now, you need to fix this afterwards though. There's special varnishes. You can't use alcohol-based varnishes because it will just activate this again. But you can see that effect now. Okay. And now on this side, I have got the watercolor. And I can actually remove, I want to remove some of that, and I'm going to use my magic eraser, my magic sponge. You'll see now why I want to do this. You can see how it just wipes it right off. Now I'm just going to get just a rag. Just wipe this a bit better. I can actually also dip it into the alcohol if I want to. Should wipe it off. Now I've got Higgins Black Magic ink. This is waterproof ink. I love drawing in inks with a dip pen. And again, my influence with Charles Rennie Mackintosh. Let's just give this a nice big shake. I'm actually going to just do a little forest or some such. I'm just going to do shapes of trees, maybe. Here's another one. And this will take a while to dry. Make that a bit longer. Just very simple shapes. They need to go a little bit longer, I think. The stems. There's something behind there. And, oopsie, that's gone a bit askew. I'll make that a thicker trunk. And now I'm actually just going to just embellish these just with a bit of doodling. I'll do some dots on this one. Okay. How about some lines on this one? And what can we do? This one's, I've smudged that one, but that doesn't matter. It is what it is. Let's do here like a feather. Okay, so there we go. You can play around with this for ages and ages. You can use a permanent marker pen on here, but it doesn't, you know, it does smudge off. This, once it's dry, is fine. Okay, and I think we'll just do some circles on this one. And that one, I think I would like to do some lines going across. Okay, so we have a little forest of sorts. I can actually wipe some more of this off if I want it more of a cleaner look, but I think it looks fairly atmospheric and I'm happy with that. That's fine. All right, now this one's dried a bit. So now you can actually work in with inks onto there as well. This is, remember, this is with the alcohol inks, and I'm using the same Higgins black. I'm just going to do, what should I do? Just like little creatures of some sort. The black line work, it sort of adds something to the work. It almost looks like a sort of intertidal pool kind of look. I'm going to do some. This is really doodling. I'm aware of the time, so I'm trying to hasten a bit here. And these, I think I'll just put some dots in them. And again, this is far from finished. I actually don't really like what I've done here at all. So that's not a problem. I'm actually just going to put more alcohol in there and then just take it away. While it's still wet, you can fiddle with this. Like this. Okay. That's better. I shall have to play and fiddle with this tomorrow. Okay. And here we go, starting to drop more ink in. Playing again. So I will have to stop now because otherwise I'll be here all night. Okay. So, Lizzie, could I have that slide, that last one with the nasturtiums, please? Okay, so this was with nasturtiums on the Yupo paper with the Higgins black ink, and just a drawing from life. And in the negative shapes, I just put speckles in. I like what is happening with the inks there. Quite subtle. I used quite gentle colors because the inks can be very bright. And the next one, please, Lizzie. There's just a feather drawn also from life onto the Yupo paper that it almost looks like it's sort of floating in a swimming pool or some such. And the next one, please. Okay, so that's a little forest done similar way to what I've just showed you, except that this was inks, it wasn't watercolor. So it was the alcohol inks with the Higgins black. The next one, please, Lizzie. 3 little forests in a row, okay, and the white dots you can actually put on after this. I'll show you when I come back, but there's a white acrylic called Aero Color, and you can put white dots in with that. And the next one, please, Lizzie. Okay, so that's again, that was actually a mixture of watercolor and the Doc Martens inks on the Yupo paper with the black, Higgins black. And then I also used the gold and silver gel pens to decorate that one. Okay. Right. Now, the next thing, thank you, Lizzie. You know, when you have a failed watercolor, Well, what are you going to do with it? So we can actually just do some collage work, cut up old watercolors. See, I've just got this that I was fiddling with earlier. I'm just going to cut the shape. Okay, and I'll do one other shape. Just sort of a leaf shape now. Okay, so now just with my micron pen, right, I think I'll do a sort of a flower, something like that. So I'll start about there, there, and there, right. So I'm just going to take some lines down. It will all start making sense just now. Looks like a spider at the moment, but it will be fine. Okay. Just need a thicker pen. Just take a line down. Okay. Well, I'm just going to get some, this is just some gel medium, but it's a fantastic glue and it is archival. Let's paint the back. Okay, it's my flower and a leaf. But you see, this was just a random piece of watercolor that didn't work. And there you are. Now you can cut that out and put it on a greeting card. Okay, so Lizzie, could I have the next photo, please? Okay, that's just an example of one of the cards. And the next one, please, Lizzie. It's the same thing, cutting out old bits of watercolor paper. I could embellish the one I did also with some gold and silver, as I've done with these ones. And the next one, please, Lizzie. That's with acrylic, old pieces of acrylic painted on paper. The next one, please, Lizzie. A little bird. And the next one, please. And that's just on different paper with a similar idea. Okay, right. Thank you, Lizzie. Now you can also use a paint blot as a creative prompt. So could I have the next slide, please, Lizzie? So that was just paint, purple and yellow painted on a little piece of paper. And then when it was dried, I thought, well, it looks, the top looks a bit like I could put some flowers in there. And so that was the creative prompt for those little flowers. The next one, please, Lizzie. That's a fish. And the next one, please. And that's a little bird. Thank you, Lizzie. So this leads me to the daily project I've been working on during lockdown called my Flockdown Birdies, which was a name actually given me by my sister. I thought of it, which I think is actually brilliant. It's developed into quite a project. I pair each bird up with a saying, a quote, appropriate line of a song. And so a little narrative has developed reflecting my hopes and anxieties, joys, and all, you know, everything that's been going on with this lockdown. Okay. And I make these little concertina sketchbooks, and then I paint in paint blots. I do it before time, like this. See, this was today's bird, and then that will be tomorrow's bird, and so on. And I pair it up with, yeah, something appropriate. And I'll just show you very quickly how you can actually make a little sketchbook like this. So this is Fabriano 300 GSM stretched, smooth hot press paper. It's got this beautiful decal edge, and I've folded this piece already. Show you what I do. So I start off by folding it in half. I've got a little brayer that I just that, and you fold this up. And so okay, and then with my paper creaser, I just make sure that's a nice creased edge. Okay, so now I've got two pieces. There's a W and there's an M. Okay, and basically you fit that together like that. You just put some glue in there, and there you have a little concertina sketchbook, as easy as that. Okay, so what I was going to say is that at the end of each month, I make a little compilation of the little birds from that month with some music. So Lizzie, could you play the video, please, for everybody? This was just last month's video. Thank you, Lizzie. Okay. Right. So, thanks to everyone for sharing this evening with me. It's been great. I hope the ideas I've played around with will inspire you to play and experiment. Thanks to Sue and Lizzie for setting up the Zoom meeting. And big thanks to the council, who always work so hard and just keep our society going. You really are appreciated. Thank you so much. And if anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them.
Yeah, Wyn, thank you so much. That was wonderful. They all, I mean, they're just such wonderful ideas, and it's just endless. Hey, you can with what you can do.
It's the tip of the iceberg.
And you can end up with such wonderful, wonderful little artworks that you can use as you said, with cards, or even to use the ones that haven't worked to then recreate something else, which is wonderful. I've got a few questions here. Tisha asked, the fish that you did in the beginning, how did you get such a clean outline? Do you use masking fluid, or with the little watercolor fish that you started at the beginning? They were very.
This is the one. Sorry, I'm just spinning around in my chair. Does she mean that one? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just watercolor painted on paper. It's just wet on dry paper. That's all.
Okay. And
you mustn't draw it, because then you start getting too fiddly. So you just put it on and let it dry, and then doodle on it.
And okay, she said here, you've got a steady hand. Yes. Then the other question was that magic eraser. Where do you buy and the Yupo paper? Where do you buy most of your products? And
Italian art shop, Decal Edge. There's I've gone completely blank. Art Source. Yeah, okay. They supply amazing stuff. All these shops. I know that
even P&A have the.
Oh yes, P&A is fantastic. I mean, these gel pens all from P&A. Yeah. They sell the Micron markers as well. I often just go in there and just look and see what else they've got, because they've got new stuff in. The Copic markers are also quite good, and to draw with and play around with, and that's
the Yupo paper. And
I think you can also get it from most shops. I got that one from Italian Art Shop.
Okay.
It comes in a packet. I think there were 25 sheets. It's quite expensive. But you can actually use the back. If it doesn't work, whatever's happened, it doesn't work on the front, you just turn it over. It doesn't go through to the back.
Okay. Yeah. And then do you treat that like you said it's almost like plastic, but then if you treat it like a watercolor, you would have to frame it, put under glass.
You'd have to, yes, and you'd have to seal it with a varnish, but you must be very careful which varnish you choose. It's got to be an alcohol-free varnish. Otherwise, the alcohol, if you've used alcohol inks, they'll just react with it. But if it's a watercolor on it, then I would probably just use the same. It's Krylon makes it. I think it's called Camel Varnish. I think I had a note here with it. Yes, because I was asking Sky Kennedy at the Italian Art Shop about this today. So it's Krylon is the brand, and if you go on the internet, I went onto YouTube and looked for all, researched all this, and it seems to be that the Krylon is the best brand for this. And some people say you put the first one is a Camel Varnish, and then there's a UV archival one as well. They all come in spray cans. So some people suggested you put the Camel Varnish on first as a sealant, and then you put the UV spray on after that to stop it fading in the light.
Okay.
They comes in matte or gloss or semi-gloss or whatever you prefer. But everybody seems to be out of stock. Unfortunately, with the with present problem, it's quite difficult for imports and all that. But I think Sky said she would possibly be getting some of this varnish in September, mid-September. So perhaps try. I would say possibly just use the UV archival spray on it. It's about 400 Rand a can. It's very expensive, but you need to have it. Yeah.
But if you master the art of doing it and you create something that's really nice, then it's worth
Oh,
preserving,
yeah.
and
Has
not
to.
just, and then it
Yeah.
becomes more than just doodling around with.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, do that in the
And
beginning to experiment, to see what it
they don't,
does.
apparently they don't discolor. So, that's the other thing you've got to think about. You don't want to destroy your artwork. So rather be safe than sorry,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Any other questions from anybody? I just want to check what's on the chat, if there's any other ones here. Hang on, there's some. I think there's quite a few messages to say, oh, that was amazing. Thank you. You're incredibly clever, Wyn. Thank you. So inspiring as always. Thanks so much for sharing your processes. Wonderful. Thank you for your amazing creations. Thanks so much. That was brilliant. So inspiring. Wonderful new ideas. It was amazing. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah. So lovely to be part of this.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
very
everybody.
lots of lovely input and lots of lovely. You've given us all lots to think about, and inspired us to have more fun. I think. Yeah.
Oh, I really think we need that now. We really, really do. And you never know what this can lead to. Another wonderful body of work, and something a bit different. So
exactly.
That's what I'm busy with at the moment. I'm just playing, and what will be will be.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, you're quite right. Thank you so much, Wyn, and we really do appreciate it that you've given your time and the effort that you put into preparing all this. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Sue, and thank you, Lizzie, as well. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us and watching, and I hope you feel very inspired. Good night, everybody. Okay, good night, everybody.